This briefing is especially tailored to respond to some hyped propaganda. As I have been saying, propaganda is one of the four main tools through which our country is being controlled. The other three being the terror, the fear, the use of money to bribe our leaders, and the divide and rule. Four tools that control our country. And the tool of propaganda has been in extra gear recently, and I would like to especially deal with two aspects of it. One, I'm sure you are very aware of the weeks of hype, of the achievements of Mr. Museveni, and they project them actually as his personal achievements. They have even talked about his 60 years of political engagement that has achieved all what we have seen. And if you care to follow that line of propaganda, actually NRM starts with him as a student in Entire School. That's where NRM began, and up to today. So there has been several weeks of hype of the achievements of that long political engagement. And the idea is to give an impression that things are working, be calm, things are happening, we are making progress. Indeed, as their slogan has been, steady progress is on. So I want simply to put what they have been saying in context for our people to know that actually what they are saying is trash. The focus, as always, about what they have done is on economic changes in the economy. The GDP has grown from here to there, astronomical growth. They even don't talk about how the shillings in which the GDP is projected, how the shilling has been losing value. They don't even talk about that. Because a dollar, some time back, when there was the currency reform of 1987, a dollar was equal to 60 shillings. A dollar was equal to 60 shillings. Today, a dollar is close to 4,000 shillings. So when they are comparing the shillings of 1987 and the shillings of 2024, they don't show you that these shillings of 2024 are nearly, thousands. If you divide 4,000 by 60, it's about 80 times. 80 times less valuable. They don't tell you about that. They just say GDP in 1987 was this. GDP today is this. So you think, oh, GDP, Our production has performed wonderfully. They talk about revenue in similar terms. We were collecting only this money, we are now collecting so much. I'm even surprised that they make an achievement of money they collect from Cheyo. The people whom they have forced into exile, into economic exile, the people who have fled the poverty here and run abroad for their survival. They now project them, we are earning so much from Cheyo people, you know, and they are drumming about it. They talk then about factories. We have so many factories have been constructed. And yes, I believe they have been constructed. I don't contest the number of factories constructed. Electricity has increased from this to that. Paved roads. We have paved so many roads. Of course, don't mind about the quality of the paved roads that they talk about, which are, you know, very, very temporary, and which have been, so all these are infrastructural economic developments and monetary expressions of what has been changing. That's what they project as a success. They will not focus on the situation of the people of Uganda. Because, okay, you have, because if we were just looking at roads, maybe we shouldn't have even chased the British. The British constructed a railway line all the way from Mombasa to Kasese to Pakwach in West Nile. Mr. Museveni has not constructed even an inch of rail. But that rail was not to serve us, it was to steal from us. It was to take our things to himself, to themselves. Carry the copper, carry the cotton, carry the tobacco, carry the whatever to themselves. They were not roads to serve us. They were roads to rob us. So they focus on things that have no impact or no great impact on people. The state of the people of Uganda. Mr. Museveni actually acknowledges that, though he keeps saying that what is now remaining is dealing with household poverty, but that is the very thing that is the most important, the situation of people. He says we have now solved this, we are now going to deal with household poverty. At independence, the independence leaders of Africa, the whole of Africa, their vision was very focused on three things: dealing with ignorance, disease, and poverty. Three things the independence leaders were focused, because those are things that bedevil the people themselves: ignorance, poverty, and disease. And they designed programs to attack these. That is not in the vision, at least not in the achievements that are being talked about. How we have gone in dealing with ignorance, with poverty, with the disease. Nothing. So, The celebrations, the propaganda is totally misleading. Of course, the other thing they endlessly celebrate is security ushered in by the NRA. Because again, they think that security and peace is purely the absence of war. That's what they equate security and peace. They don't know that you can't move in this town holding your phone. Your hand may be cut off. They don't know how insecure people feel in their homes about their property. I told you some time back, I was in the village. People now sleep with their goats because they fear their goats will not be there by morning. They sleep in the coffee chambers, guarding, you know. I myself am a victim here in Kasangati. Whenever I grow some maize, I literally have to sleep there to eat a bit of it, you know. The insecurity and the people who are moving around, grabbing whatever, have been pushed completely to the margins. They have no means of subsistence, so they have to now become wild. It is a creation of what they are celebrating. Because what they are celebrating is what has been extracted from everybody else. The people celebrating, you can count them on your hands. The rest of the people, very sad for them. I felt very sad when I saw the rain harassing them at the celebration in Kololo. The ones who come for Pirao, you know, the rain was not kind to them this time. But they have no food. So if you make a party at Kololo and you make plow or there is some soda, people will come to share in that. But they are not sharing in the prosperity. They are demonstrating their marginalization only. They are not part of the celebration. So, if you look at poverty, which is where the country must be concerned, that our young people who have no jobs, no hope, nothing, are impoverished. Our young people who are indeed running away at great risk to go to Arab countries, to go to other places to look for survival. That is what any government worth its name should be focusing on. Not telling us, showing us pictures of Entebbe Expressway built at a cost that could have built maybe 10 of those. And all the rest of the money is in the pockets of these thieves who masquerade as leaders of our country. So poverty up to now, officially, and this is officially, I don't consider that official figures in Uganda mean much because our statistics, as you know, are very corrupted like the rest of the things. You saw the census the other day, which is what we are going to get figures from, the census. Household surveys, which was going on, fake. So it's very difficult to have real figures of the situation in our country. But nonetheless, officially, at least they still say 30% of Ugandans are below the poverty line. That's official. You know? And the poverty line they talk about, even those above it are poor. So the line has been put very low, actually. But those below that line are 30%, 1 in every 3. And they say that those above it, the greatest majority are vulnerable to going below. If there is any slight shock, then immediately they plunge below. That is the real situation that our country should be grappling with. The education, I don't need to belabor, dealing with ignorance. Education is a crisis for our country, both in terms of the content of education, but more especially the delivery of education services in our country. Less than 25% of school-going people finish elementary school, primary school. Less than 25% finish primary school. Less than 16% finish lower secondary education, ordinary level. And lower than 6% finish advanced higher secondary education. That is our situation. So we are a country that cannot educate its people. That's the reality that we are in today. And of course, if there is anything called apartheid, education in Uganda is one that demonstrates the policy of apartheid, separate development. Those who are in UPE are in a completely different trajectory of development. Those in private schools, and private schools also have classes, are on a different trajectory of development. And then there are those in international schools. So there are 3 separate paths of development for our people. UPE, those are like in the condemned section. UPE. And that's why they abandon it. Many don't go, I'm now continue. Then you have the private school, which squeezes the parents. Part of the poverty we are talking about is caused by attempting to educate children in the homes. The poverty. Selling land, selling what, to educate people. I told the people of Mbarara that if Museveni became a child today, he would never go to Ntare school where he went. He would never. He would remain there in the village with his tire shoes, which they used to put on. He would never go to school. Under the system he has created, he would never have gotten education coming from the family in which he came. Those are the things that should be focused on by the country, not the GDP. Where is the GDP in all this? Why doesn't it produce education? Why doesn't it pay teachers? Teachers are the most, disincentivized workers, public workers we have. No incentive at all for teachers. Everybody despises a teacher. If you see a country where teachers are despised, you know that country is doomed. And that's what we have today. Teacher training. If you go to teacher training institutions, shameful. So again, just putting the context of their celebrations. Yes, they are celebrating, but they are dancing on our graves. They must understand.